Hello and welcome to Jamie TV. I'm Jamie Mallender and I'm broadcasting from Starbucks Studio. Today I'm going to do my very best to bring you a very concise, to the point video with lots of great content and little fluff. I'm a real big fan of the YouTube channels Sound Test Room and Hack Attack, and through those channels I became aware of a free synth app for mobile devices called Primer. Now, if these guys say it's good, it must be. So I downloaded it and I was having a play around with it the other day, and I thought, I think I could make a whole track with just this synth. And I was looking for something to do for a new video, so I decided to set myself that as a challenge. So my rules are, I can only use Primer, but as many instances of it as I wish. I can only use Primer to create sounds. I can use any plugins I wish in any DAW I want to. That's the rules. So I have no idea what kind of a track I'm going to make. We're just going to kind of dive into it and see what happens. So as you can see, we're looking at Aum, which, like a stupid hippie, I used to call AUM, but from watching other people's channels I've realised that people pronounce it Aum, which I'm going to endeavour to try to remember to do, which probably sounds hilarious in my northern accent, so apologies for that. Now as we look at Aum here, you'll see that I have Digisticks open and I'm only supposed to be using sounds from Primer, so you're probably wondering why that is. So I'm going to endeavour to explain the problem here. Now I'm going to open Primer and show you that if we look here in the top left hand window, where we have lots of fantastic presets, many of them provided by Spider Ice Midas, I think I said it right. Here we go into drums. Now here's the problem. I'm going to need drums for this track, and Spider has provided us with some great drum sounds, but if I just click on one, right, okay, so here's basic kick. There's a great basic kick, which I have right across the keyboard. Okay, so now I can select another one. So let's go with a hat. And now I have a hat right across the keyboard. So you see the problem. I'm going to have several instances of Primer open just to get my drums happening. So it occurs to me that what I could do is I could sample these sounds and then load them all into Digisticks, because that wouldn't be breaking the rules, because Digisticks wouldn't be producing any sounds as such. You'd be playing back Primer sounds. So I could sample the sounds, put them into Digisticks, build a kit in there, and then play it back in the DAW. Problem being, I've never ever done any sampling ever. So I think I have an idea how I can do it here in Aum. So let's just see if I can. We'll start with a kick, and I kind of quite like this hard kick here. That was the one. If I take the lock off here, I can move the octave down. There, that sounds better. Right, I want that kick there. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to need the keyboard, I think. Let's just go into MIDI settings and make sure, yeah, built-in keyboard is already wired up to Primer. So there we are, and there's my kick sound. Right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press record. I had record activated. Okay, so I'm going to I'll try and edit that bit out later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to record in Aum, and I'm going to press that kick and stop it. Okay, now if I go to files here, I should have a kick sound there. Right, okay, so there's my kick. And now what I can do is I can rename it kick, because I do like to label things. Hang on, no, I'm doing this in the wrong thing. I do it here. That's right, rename and kick. Okay, right, now what I need to do is to show this in audio share. I think I know what I'm doing here. Right, now I'm going to need to edit this here. How do I edit it? Because look, I want that WAV to be like right at the beginning, and basically I want to trim it down. So how do I do that? Trim and fade. Alright, so if I drag this across here up to there, oh, and it's zoomed in. Well, that's great, I can do it more. Right, and okay, so we can take the tail off as well. Yeah, think about like that'll be okay. And play. What can loop it, look. Marvellous. Okay, and we'll save that. I don't think I need to do anything else here, so I'm going to save that. Right, so now it's saved it as kick trimmed. Right, do I need to do anything else with that? I'm not sure. Okay, let's go back to, oh yeah, back to home. Right, now open Digisticks, and I'm in my user bank already, and I want to add a bank. No, I don't want to add a bank, I want to add create new drum kit. There we are. Right, let's just call it drums, because I'm not feeling very imaginative right now. We'll go to create and press record button to add new samples to this kit. Alternatively, tap and hold on the drum pad. Oh right, yeah, okay, I think I know what I need to do here. So right, if I press these pads here, I have no sounds because it's a new kit, and I need to add sounds. So if I press on this pad, import sample on my iPad, audio share files, AUM recordings, drums, kick trimmed, sample imported successfully. Right, okay. Now if I remember rightly, you have to also assign, yes, MIDI mapping, because Digisticks doesn't use general MIDI. So I need to press, I want this, I'm going to press C1 on my keyboard. And now I should have, why do I have to cancel that? Has that not worked? Maybe it's because it's an external keyboard. There, C1, okay. So now I've got bass drum if I press the pad, if I press C1 on here, or C1 on my keyboard. Alright, okay, so what I'm going to do, save you the pain of watching me do all this, I'm going to now go through all those drum kit sounds in Primer, select the ones I like, and I'm going to build myself a drum kit here in Digisticks. I have now moved forward in time, and I have a complete kit of Primer drum sounds built up in Digisticks. Now you'll see we're looking at Aum again, and what I have here is Cubasis, because I'm going to be using that in a moment, and I'm recording here, so this will enable me to record all the sounds I make in Cubasis, and this is the microphone so you can hear me speaking, and this is my mix bus, the mix bus that I'm recording. Right, so let's go to Cubasis, And here is my Digistix drum kit. Now, there's more that I can do to these samples within Digistix, but for now I'm just going to leave them raw because I'm going to see what they sound like in the track, and that will give me an idea of what I might need to do to them. Now, I'm going to need some MIDI here for my drums, and rather than programming something to get me started, the other day I was using Xdrummer, and there was a drum loop in there I particularly liked, so I want to go in and grab that now. I'm going to go to Project and New, we'll call it Primer, because I don't have a name for the track yet because I don't have a track, and then close that and go to Song Editor, 80s pop, what was it now, 80s pop, it was a chorus number 2 it was. So there we go, that's the fella. Drop that in here and go back to Project, export drum track as MIDI, export Primer to save to files, and we're doing it in GarageBand, that's for sure. Let's see, we'll add a folder. Let's have a folder for Primer. We'll call it Primer Stuff. Done. Save to... No, not there. Can I not move that? Oh dear. Oh yeah, right, okay, I should have... I'm going to do that again. Primer Stuff. Dear, oh dear. That's better. Right, okay, Primer Stuff. Save. Marvellous, that should be done. So now we can just come out of Xdrummer altogether. Now here in Cubasis I can go to Media and MIDI and import from Files, Primer Stuff, Primer. Marvellous, and there it is. I can just stick my finger on that and move it to there, and there I have some drums. Marvellous, it worked. Right, let's maybe loop those drums round, have a play. Maybe. Ooh, magic chords. Never said I was a keyboard player. That camera's gradually sliding down the side of my keyboard. Oh! Stay there. Alright, let's just have a listen to see what that would like. Alright, okay, so that's that doesn't suck. I'm going to work with that for a little while, see what I can come up with there. Tidy up this MIDI and maybe see if I can come up with some more parts, and then we'll have a look at another sound. Oops. I totally forgot about the triggering of the other sounds, but let's just see what it sounds like. Okay, my playing's awful, but it's there. It's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Let's have another instance of Primer here. All the way over to audio units. There we go. And let's see, what else could we add to that? Maybe a some kind of a pad sound, something. I'm doing it again. Honestly, Jamie, pull yourself together. Maybe higher. Can't remember what chords I played. Something backgroundy, something filling in. I'm going to have a play with these sounds, see what I can come up with. I'll check back with you in a moment. Big Saw Touch. That's quite nice. That's quite nice. Let's just see what my playing is like there. Quantize that. That looks about right. That looks about okay. Right. So maybe. Let's add an effect here. Let's have a Brown Boss effect. Perforator. Take that off. So a little bit more dimension to it. Oh, I forgot to loop it. Loop. Try again. It's quite nice. I really like that. I'm not sure if it'll fit into the groove though. Let's take the solo off. Not really. Right, now this is my 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th instance of Primer, and I'm loving this sound. It's a bit crackers, but I'm thinking this is the kind of sound that could be. It could be fairly quiet, just sort of maybe pan to one side, just adding some dimension to it. See what it sounds like to the track. Record that. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this tune. It's not the kind of thing I normally would ever come up with, but it's kind of like it reminds me of like a Crash Bandicoot, Mario Kart, Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph kind of a vibe. It's fun. I've realised I have made a bit of a mistake though. What I've done, if I can just open Digisticks here and go to my pads, one of these sounds. Oh wait a minute, I just need to turn Cubase back up here. Right, Okay, there are two sounds actually that have a delay on. Which could be a problem because in Primer, I imagine the tempo in Primer was probably set to 120 because those delays certainly seem to be in time to this track. It will have been at 120, and maybe I ought to have taken those delays off because straightly I might have decided that I didn't want this track to be tempo 120. So really that's an error. So take note if you ever go at doing this. But in actual fact, I kind of like the track at the tempo that it is. But if I decide at some point that I want to change it, then that's something I would have to go back and look at and alter. So right, next thing, I'm going to add another primer here, which has appeared in the wrong place because I am useless. I heard this sound in Primer earlier that I really liked, but I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to use that. It's not going to be any use to me. But I've been thinking I'd like to have an introduction to this track that very briefly builds, drops, and then goes into the loop that we already have. So I'm going to see if I can go back to find that sound. It was one of those bass sub drop sounds. Was it this one? Oh, I'm doing the same thing again. Let me just solo that sound and then we can hear it on its own. Was it that one? Or was it the other one? They're both pretty cool. Yeah, the first one, I believe. There we are. Right, so that might be really cool at the end of an introduction. So that would give us, let's see if we have a bar here. Let's just create this and draw. Yes, that's on. And there. Okay, what's that sound like? Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to see now about building an introduction before this with this sub bass drop thing at the end, and let's see where we go from there. The reason I've built this project in Cubase 2 is because right now it's the most stable digital audio workstation we have on the iPad, and I wanted to be able to have several instances of Primer open, which hasn't been a problem at all actually because it uses so little CPU. And I've got Digistix open as well, and I've got a whole bunch of effects plugins open and stuff, and it's all running very smoothly. So before I break off and go and finish this track and then sort of post it at the end of the video, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you this one last sound that I've been working on. I know very little about programming synths, but I watched Doug Woods' video about this, and he did this thing where he messed with the mod envelope and he got this constant rising pitch thing, which then turned around and dropped, and I just want it to rise. And what I've done, I've got, if you look at the mod envelope square here, I've got AMT, whatever that means, I have no idea what that stands for, all the way up. It's set to pitch, the A slider is all the way up and D is all the way down, and it just does this. And it just keeps going up and up. So I'm going to put that at the end of the introduction because it's a nice introduction which really features the sound that I've got Cosmonaut on very nicely, because I really wanted that effect to be heard at some point in the track. And then I'm going to continue, finish the piece, and post it for you all to have a listen to, see what you think. If you've watched this video right up to now, then thank you for being an absolute legend. I really do appreciate that very much. If you did enjoy it, then please, like everyone says at the end of their YouTube videos, give me a like and subscribe, and maybe ding the bell if you'd like to hear about future nonsense that I upload to YouTube. This is just my musical journey along the way in learning about mobile music making, and you know, I'm here as much to learn as to share what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll enjoy the music along the way, and hopefully maybe, you know, someone out there might learn something from it too. Now, if you were watching and you thought, this guy made a complete arse of sampling, he's got no idea what he's doing. Well, that's true. I have got no idea what I'm doing. That really was genuinely my first attempt. So if there was a better way I could have done it, or an app I should have used or something, then please inform me. Comment below. Look me up on my social media links, which will be below the video. By all means, add me as a friend, email me, follow me, whatever. It's good to be in touch. It's good to make friends. And yeah, I will also be sharing below a link to a Dropbox folder where I share the presets for sounds that I use in these videos. I'll be adding to it the Digistix kit that I made with Primer sounds too, so check that out. Now, what did I want to say? Primer. The most important focus of this video really was to prove that Primer, whilst it's free, is a great synth. And the one thing that makes it particularly good for me is its low CPU usage. It means that you can have a lot of instances of it open, and it's not going to crash anything, which is a really, really useful thing to have. I also wanted to prove something about, you know, something that's discussed a lot in the Facebook groups that I'm a member of about mobile recording, is that maybe many of us buy too many synths, because, you know, each synth comes with so many possibilities and so many presets, you know, and what do? We use it a couple of times, we use a couple of sounds, and then we buy another and we buy another. Doing this, I've discovered sounds in Primer and learned things about it that otherwise I probably never would have. So, you know, it was something worth thinking about. It proved to be a really good exercise for me anyway. Now, I'm off to finish the track. I'm looking over here because I have some notes, and I'm just making sure that I don't forget. Oh, yes, I did forget something. Primer is genuinely 100% free. There are no secret in-app purchases or anything like that to make it work fully. When you download it, it's ready to go. But there is a button on it which says Learn Synthesis, and that will take you to the course run by the people who made the app, whose name escapes me right now, and that's just terrible, and I apologize profusely. It will come to me as soon as I stop, as soon as I press stop on the video. Terrible. I'm ashamed of myself. But yes, if you press on that button, it takes you to their Learn Synthesis course, which I believe is a pay for thing, and I'm told is a brilliant course. I haven't taken it myself, obviously, but if you've watched this video, then clearly I should do. So that's something I'll be thinking about doing myself. So thank you very much for watching. I'm off now to finish this track, which I believe the best thing to do might be to finish up this video and then post the video to the track as a sort of a follow-on video, because some people might just want to watch that and not this making of video. Anyway, take care of yourselves, be good to each other, see you later.